Hello, how is everyone doing? This is Tigre La Gardenia. I have a little odd topic, but then again, those of you that might know me know that I'm a little bit odd. So my topic here is on planetary illness for evolutionary transformation. So I'm going to break this down for you. Now, this talk is really the foundation of some research that I've been doing over many years. So let me tell you a little bit about me, a little bit about where I come from, so that you get a good balance and a good understanding of what it is that I'm going to be talking about. So about me, if you have a chance and you followed me, I'm a mentor. I work with people who want to go through, and I help especially soul-driven pioneers that want to really work on their next level personal and professional transformation. I use both practical spirituality mixed in with nature-inspired innovations. So my specialty right now is plant intelligence. I research the effects of plant music on human health, and that allows me to really bring in things like biomimicry, which is emulating the best that nature has to offer, those 3.8 billion years of evolution, to understand and how we could set up new structures, new ideas, new products, new services based on the wisdom of nature. So really the whole connection into nature, the whole observing, learning from, connecting with, and co-creating with is a major part of what it is that I do and how I work and how I approach life as well as business. And on the other side, I have this whole spiritual piece. I was a Kabbalah teacher. I taught sacred geometry for many years. And I currently live in Damanhur Spiritual Eco Community. It's one of the largest eco communities in the world. It's located in northern Italy. And we here are a laboratory of dreamers and of researchers looking at understanding how to reconnect all of the divine sparks to really accent our personal growth and how to evolve as a species to the next level of where we are supposed to go. So I talk about Damanhur because Damanhur has many different types of technologies, lots of wisdom in the temples of humankind, which is the underground cathedrals that we've built completely by hand. We have many different ways for us to access universal knowledge that's coming through the synchronic lines. So my work is a combination of bringing together all of this research and of tying in things that are happening in the world itself, using both science as well as spirituality with a focus specifically on nature, with this whole innate biophilic area of ourselves. One of the concepts that I want to talk about kind of first and foremost, because it's going to inform the rest of my talk, is about the Grail. And I know it seems kind of strange. Here we are talking about healing the planet, and healing the world, which in reality we all know is about healing humanity, because the planet's going to be just fine. Again, 3.8 billion years of nature that has already existed in this planet. The planet knows how to transform. The planet knows how to create and to changing conditions and how to create conditions conducive to life. What we as a super young species on this planet, I mean, we as humans, and really a singular species, which is very unusual in the natural world. As you know, any kind of major species out there, there's many different types of, many variants of species that are. So whether you have dogs or cats or, other types of bacteria and animals, there's different kinds of variations, and we as humans instead are pretty much just Homo sapiens. So we have one variation, and that's something to keep in consideration. So going back, I was saying that I need to just start with the Holy Grail. And I want to start with the Grail because at Damanhur, this is a super important concept that we work for on a regular basis, and we research what exactly is the Grail. Now, I'm going to just do a very quick sort of summary and bring you into some concepts that later on or to explore at a different, with more in-depth conversation. I want to just accent these points because it's important for us to think about these concepts and redefine what we're seeing happening in the world today. I mean, it is wonderful to see the reawakening that people are having in their connection to nature. And this is absolutely fundamental for our growth and our evolution. But we're very much stuck in certain concepts that in reality are kind of, we call them in Italian scamotage. They're just basically red herrings. They're things that we think are important, but in reality are not the big problem or not the direction that we should be taking. Instead, these are situations that get us caught up in the same kind of ego that we don't even realize, you know, is perpetuating the problems that we're trying to avoid. So when I talk about the Grail, I'm going deeper in, and I want to have this conversation of the fact that the planet is trying to give us a series of signals for our evolution, and it's up to us to really read those signals, turn to nature, turn to what's happening in the planet and say, okay, wait a minute, now it's time for us to change completely the paradigm and to create with nature and to co-create the next level of our evolution rather than trying to do it in stages. I want you to just open yourself up to the possibility that right now, the way we've been looking and framing the problem is not what is going to lead us to the solutions, and that we need a reframe. So the things I'm going to be talking about later on, I want you to digest them, I want you to integrate them, I want you to think about them, and even discard some of them that don't feel like they're part of your truth. But from a Damanhurian perspective, truth in the world of form, in this physical form that we have, doesn't exist, because truth is always colored by our own perceptions. So this is why I want you for 1 second to just suspend any kind of disbelief and just allow this to sink in and be a part of what you kind of start to process. And then later on, you can discard what you don't want, bring in what you want, things of that nature. All right? So are we okay with that? Is that going to work? Good. When we talk about the Grail, we're really talking about what is called a tiny piece of the real. Now, I'm going to give you a very brief lesson of spiritual physics for 1 second. This is something that is a deep part of the research that we do, and it informs all of my continued research into plant intelligence, how we work and co-create with nature, how do we bring our spiritual beliefs into the physical, and how do we use all of the ecosystem, the spiritual ecosystem and the physical ecosystem, in order for us to drive an evolutionary transformation. And so when we think about the way that the world is created, the universe, this whole spiritual ecosystem is created, we have to think that there is a part that many people call source, that people call divinity, as in like global divinity, you know, some people call it God. All of this is what in Damanhurian terms we use the word real. So this is what is the real. This is the place where everything and nothing exists. And so therefore you have all the material and all the knowledge and everything that is possible for full creation. In the real, anything is possible, but nothing is possible because there is no form. So while you have all the ingredients, you have all the basic building blocks, you're missing the world of form that is necessary in order for you to be a true creator. And this is where the Holy Grail sort of comes in. So regardless of the form, which historically had been talked about as being a chalice, right? This is the most common form of the Grail that we see. We have a chalice, and this chalice contained, for many, many years, the real. And so this real that was contained inside of this chalice was able to transit and able to move around. Now, at some point, the Grail realized that this power of creation inside of the chalice was no longer kind of effective for what was happening in the world. And so it decided to change forms. Now, we don't know exactly how this process happens, but we know that the Grail over the years has been able to change forms multiple times based on what is most important for what is happening in society and happening in the world. Because again, the Grail, just like every other creature that is connected or every other being that is connected to this planet, has one major goal: evolution. Right? Nature itself has only one goal. The goal is to evolve, to move to the next level, to become more complex. And this is what we as humans also want to do. And this is one of the danger points, because on the one side, we really want to evolve, we want to move, but we are paralyzed by our own fear of change. we don't know what that evolution looks like. And so it's very easy for us to categorize a lot of the things that are happening in an evolutionary direction as a problem or something that we need to solve, or worse, stop. And so the Grail is one of the elements, one of the safety mechanisms that's been created in this whole universal game that we're playing, to allow us to really push forward evolution when some other factors might be holding it back. So as the Grail switches from one form to another, it assumes things that are necessary.